All right, welcome to this Projector Energy Study Live. Welcome on Zoom, welcome on YouTube, welcome on the replay. Today we're going to talk about what is healthy lack and what is unhealthy lack. And this is really good because it will help you understand why, when you're feeling lack or you're feeling not enough or doubting yourself or worrying about something, scared, overwhelmed, all the things, those aren't weaknesses, but they're signals. They're really signals from the universe asking you to create something, to make yourself bigger, in energetically bigger in a way, so that you can receive more light for yourself, and light being just the representative word for everything, all the blessings that you want in your life, whether that's abundance or love or harmony or more health or more energy, whatever it is, not just for yourself, but also for the world. And we're going to dive into why these blessings can't be forced, but they also can't force themselves upon you. So this is what we're going to talk about today. And also pull your astrology chart close, because we're going to look at your astro chart as well. We're going to be looking at some fun things, and I'm going to share with you the energy of the week. But if you're watching this at a later time, these energies are always available to you. It's just, this is the theme of what we're going through right now. But whenever you're watching this is perfect, is when you're meant to see it. And that's when you can dive into the energy and apply it to your life. So we're going to be very practical. We're going to be very tactical, and we're going to maybe pull someone up to workshop some stuff again, like we did last week. That was great. It might look a little different every week, but I love doing these things. So welcome to those of you who are here. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Alex. I work with projectors. I help projectors. I dedicate all of my work to projectors, to help them understand themselves more, to help them feel more empowered, live more in their own frequency of success. So this is what my thing is. So before we move on to the concepts from this week, also, you can always ask questions regarding what we're doing in the chat, either on YouTube or here in Zoom. And if it fits with what we're currently talking about, I will answer it at that moment, and or whenever I'm taking a break to look at the chat, because I do get easily distracted, as you might know. And otherwise, if it's a different question, maybe we'll have time for it at the end. So last week we did a giveaway. So on last week's video, you could post and comment your biggest takeaways and your biggest breakthroughs from, because last week was also a very strong and powerful transmission, and so many people got so many cool things out of it. And if you haven't watched it or looked at the chat from last week's video, which was all about the mechanics of bitterness, a lot of people got their minds blown a little bit. And the chat or the comment section is where you'll find a lot of beautiful insights that you can also take to your life. So I hope all of these past studies, energy studies, are really helpful for you to just make your life more successful and to apply these spiritual concepts in a very practical way to your projector life, whatever that is, whether that's business or love life, and I have so many fun ideas for these calls. I just wish I had more time during the week to do these kind of things, because as you know, I have a little toddler and I only work 15 to 20 hours a week. So I have to budget really tightly with my time. But here you go. I'm going to pull the winner now. I have a little thing with all the names of the few people. I thought there would be more who want to win one of these sessions, but here you go. The people who commented, they really wanted one of my transformation sessions. So I put the name of each one. One didn't have a name, so I had to put the YouTube name. So if that's going to be you, Well, let's see who it is first. So then you're going to have to go find me. I've got the winner right here. So let's see who this is. Oh, it's someone I don't know personally yet. That is fun and cool. It's now I can't read my own writing. Christy Namachova, is that your name? Christy Namachova, and I hope you know how to find me and reach out to me on socials. My Instagram is in usually under every one of these videos. So please reach out to me so that I can get in touch and send you the calendar link so that we can schedule our session together. I'm very excited to meet you and help you transform whatever is in the way between you and what you want right now. So excellent stuff. I'm very excited. We might do this again just because right now I have a flux of people coming in, booking readings and wanting to work with me one-on-one. And like I just said, I only have 15 to 20 hours a week to work. And a lot of my work is creative work where I create content and I go into creative mode so that I can keep you guys going and inspired, even if you don't have the funds to work with me yet. And also there's a lot of people coming in wanting to work with me privately right now. So even though I love doing giveaways and doing free sessions, I just have to really, really budget with my calendar spaces too right now. And it's a good problem to have. And it shows me that everything's back clicked in line after I had a little dip in the summer, but that was self-inflicted. As you already know, we do our things to ourselves, right? So sometimes we just don't know how or why, but it's always the case. So back on track, business is booming. I'm here to help you today with understanding what is the difference between healthy versus unhealthy lack. Because guess what's happening out there in the world every day? We're hearing the news. We've got neighbors. We've got people in our lives who doubt us, who say this isn't good, that isn't good. Everything's scarcity, everything's fear-mongering, all the things around us. Like most people are running around with a dysregulated nervous system. Barely anyone is grounded enough to be a clear channel. And so what we are experiencing in the real world very often is nervous system dysregulation, fear-mongering, other people who go into worst case scenarios and we start doubting ourselves. So we often, I mean, I know it because I feel it, but I've also gone through it myself. And it always comes back up, right? It's like, oh, who's going to buy this? What I'm offering. Like I constantly have to face and overcome my own lack every day as well. And it's not that it's not going to come up. It's like the weather. If it's going to rain, it's going to rain, right? But over time, when you've gotten wet so many times, you know you're going to use an umbrella and rain boots next time. So that you don't get your feet and your hair or whatever soaked. Or you go out into the rain knowing that you're going to get wet, and that's that. But we learn. And now when my lack comes up, I'm just like, all right, you again, right? And then we this is what when Karen Curry Parker talks about resilience, that's exactly what she means. We have this resilience, right? Sometimes we don't even know it, but when we're able to pull ourselves back from lack or from like something bad happens in our life and we're really like, holy shit, that's terrible, right? On Tuesday, this is so stupid. On Tuesday at Jiu-Jitsu, I re-injured my knee that I was just rehabbing and just it was getting better. I re-injured it and I went home and part of me wanted to cry and I was like, but it just didn't come out because my system now is too used to everything, quote unquote, bad that happens to say, this is the best thing that ever happened to me, even if I don't know how or why yet. But if you look at your life in retrospect, it's always the key. It's always that way, right? What do I know? Maybe my my knee is rebuilding itself into better than titanium, and then in the future I can just like be the best jujitsu granny black belt ever because of these. I don't know, But so my body didn't even allow itself to cry. And it's not that I don't suppress cries. I'm a crier. Like if it needs to come out, it comes out. So I was just like, let's get this out. Like let's cry about it. And I was like, I couldn't, It's like, no, there's a purpose to this. And the faster we can bring ourselves back from any kind of lack or feelings or thoughts like that, it was like, oh, I'm not good enough or this or that, the more time you can spend in your success signature. And this is really all that success is about. It's just like spending more time. And you hear me talking about this all the time. It's not on or off, right? It's like a gradient. You're not either successful or you're not. You're looking at your life, and there are certain areas that are more successful and certain areas that are less successful. And in those areas where you're less successful, it's just about amping up, like how much more time can you actually live in a higher frequency, higher belief system, more resilience? Like how do you, it's like going to the gym, and that's why people hire a mentor or a coach, not because they're better than them or they know more stuff. It's more, I mean, they might, that's what the difference between a mentor and a coach. But a coach doesn't have to know more. A coach just has to know how to coach you to your best. A mentor has been there, done that, and the mentor helps you with also with knowledge and experience. Anyway, just a little sidetrack. But there's unhealthy lack that when we get stuck in it, it's not going to get anything good. And there's healthy lack. So we want to understand what is actually the difference here. So, and those of you who know me, I use a lot of terminology from Kabbalah, Kabbalistic, I was going to say Kabbalah terminology. So in Kabbalah, we talk about the light and the vessel. So we're always constantly growing our vessel. We want to have a vessel that is as magnetic and powerful so that we can draw blessings. But then we also want to have a vessel that is growing so it can hold more blessings. So it's about magnetically drawing in. And I've always been really good at that myself personally. But what I've had, my cup of tea, what I've had to work on more is to grow my vessel, to hold things, right? No problem for me to draw in light, to draw in blessings, abundance, big months in my business. But I've had to grow more and focus more on, hey, how can I actually hold these blessings more? So that's been more my work over the last couple of years. And and then we talk about the light of the creator, which is, a lot of people have different names for it. Some people call it universe, God, creator. Some people don't want to call it anything or don't want to believe in anything. But in Kabbalah, the terminology is the light of the creator, just because of the emanating force of light and goodness and blessings that constantly wants to come into my life. So those are the terms that I use. So let's look at unhealthy lack first. And from those of you who are here, I would love to hear in the chat, either on YouTube or on Zoom, what do you feel like feels like unhealthy lack? Which of your thoughts or concepts? You could just type a couple so that we can have it a little bit interactive here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can type it in the chat as well. I always read everything. But here on Zoom, it's a little bit more interactive, depending on if you can type or not. And also, by the way, I love it when you turn on your cameras, because then it gives me something to mirror, and to project upon. So then I can see your faces, I can see your energy, I can see how it lands, and I can see if there's question marks on your faces and I need to go deeper onto a concept. And it's also really nice for you just to be present with yourself and with the teachings and here, and not to have other browser tabs open. So what do you, and if you're watching this on replay, you can type this in the chat box under the video. What do you consider, what do you feel like in your life, in your brain, in your experience is unhealthy lack? What feels non-productive and unhealthy to you? Just take a moment to reflect on that, because YouTube is all about speed, 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 but also I want to make these Friday morning transmissions really transformative for you, and not just blast things at you, but also give you a moment while we're right here to actually reflect and transform, because then you don't need to do it later, and then you've saved yourself some time, right? So let me know in the chat. Unhealthy lack. What does that feel like to you? What does that signify? And by the way, I'm not the only one who has wisdom on this. I want to hear your take on this too. It's probably gonna blow my mind too, and somebody else's who's gonna watch this. So I'm gonna read what you're typing as we move on. Alessandra says, search my truth out, overthinking, being pleasant. Feeling like, Noor says, feeling like not enough. Perfect. You're getting it. I mean, you already know, right? You have a sense of this already. So in short terms, throat chakra, um, upgrade, whatever it is. Unhealthy lack in short terms is when we're forgetting about the light of the creator, right? Everywhere in life where we're like, oh my gosh, I have to muscle this myself. Oh my gosh, I need this or that from that person. When we're forgetting that the light of the creator is the source of all blessings, of everything good in our life, that's when we have unhealthy lack. So how can that look? Like you guys already said, right? I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I'm scared. I'm worried. I'm feeling small. I'm feeling insignificant. I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? All of these things, or when like we said in the beginning, when a bad situation happens or something tough happens in life, and we're feeling like it's a punishment, or how can it possibly be solved, or you have a lot of debt and you don't know how to get out of it, or the bills are coming and you don't know how to pay them. Like, what we're forgetting is, and this is the purpose of these initiations, when we get woken up by a shock or by a hard experience, is that they have the purpose. And if you look in the human design chart, because we're here about human design. Who here is a human design fan, right? That's why we're here. In the human design chart, you see the 51, which is the gate of shock, which is here to awaken you into, it connects to 25, spirituality, right? The love of your connection with spirit. That's the literal purpose of everything hard or shocking or unexpected that you don't like thing happening in your life, which is my conscious Mercury. So I do like to talk about these things. I like to call it the universe's hammer a lot, right? The universe brings in the hammer sometimes, not because you're here to get punished, but because you have to be reawakened into out of this unhealthy lack of forgetting about the light of the creator, gate 25, right? So basically, unhealthy lack in all kinds of ways is forgetting the force that reveals and fulfills all blessings, which is the light of the creator, or whatever name you give it. And then what happens when we are forgetting about the light of the creator, and that entity is the source and the force that fulfills all blessings, is we become reactive, right? We snap at our partners, we rage text, or we make a business decision that's just looking for quick instant gratification. We post content for validation, anything where we're like, hey, I'm looking to get something from other people, and I'm going to want to look for it fast, because if it doesn't give me what I want or what my ego wants quickly, then my biggest fear is confirmed, that I'm not worth anything, that I'm not valued, all these kind of things, right? This is all the purpose of the ego. And everyone has an ego. There's nothing bad about an ego. Yes, it's good to humble the ego. Yes, it's good to sit in ayahuasca and have a complete ego death sometimes. But if we can learn how to humble the ego and keep it in check as a person in the back seat, not the driver, then we can make huge progress in life, right? So the ego really wants to just make sure that we look for instant gratification, and the ego is the one that is connected to your body only, right? It wants to, like, if you're in dating, maybe you just want to get intimate with people way too quickly because that gives you some kind of fulfillment in life, right? But whatever it is, you are just looking from your mind, from your body, to have something confirmed that excludes that the creator is the source of all blessings and all goodness, right? So what I wrote here in my notes is the mind and the reactive system finds ways to look for instant gratification and illusionary safety, right? We want to control, like people who like to micro control everything. I can be good at that too, right? So I think it's always good to be transparent, right? That, I'm just a human. I do all these things, and just because I like these concepts and make good progress on them, in my opinion, just me against myself, right? It's not me against anyone else. So I'm looking for illusionary safety too. But the only safety that I can really find, and where my nervous system really relaxes, is when I understand the only safety that I can find, the only fulfillment that I can find, is from the light of the Creator. So, how does that look like in real life? What are we going to do? Something bad happens, our lack comes, and our unhealthy lack comes up. Usually, depending on which stage we're at with this process, it'll even take us a while to realize that we forgot again, right? That, oh, I remember now. I don't need to muscle it all myself. I just forgot that I need to rely on the creator more than anyone else or anything else or any other person in my life. That alone sometimes takes a while. And that's why when these lacks come up, or when the hammer comes, or a situation comes that's really tough for us, what happens, what we want to make sure is that we train ourselves to pause. When we feel like we want to rage text someone back, we want to pause. Because what happens when we're pausing is we're interrupting the ego's patterns and habits to go for instant gratification, because the ego drives our human into action, or words and actions that then reinforce that same system of unhealthy lack to stay in place. And when we pause, we actually allow that the light can come in. The pause is kind of our invitation to the creator to help come and save the story, right? We're pattern interrupting the ego and saying, no, I know you want to react like this. I know you want to look for instant gratification. I know you want to act from that lack and reinforce it. And I know you want to create illusionary safety, but I'm going to pause because I want to pattern interrupt you, because I want to create a new pattern, the new pattern of remembering that everything comes from the big boss, right? That the big boss is the entity that brings our blessings into life. So when we're pausing, we're actually, what are we doing? We are creating a little bit of space between us and the situation, or us and the thought, us and the pattern. And in that little space that we're creating through pausing and remembering, there's actually now an opening where light can come in, right? And that could be And even because we're talking oftentimes about these are the, what I'm talking about right now is part of the energy of the Shabbat, which is tomorrow. And Shabbat is not just a Jewish holiday, it's also a Kabbalistic concept of one time a week, just take 24 hours off. I mean, if you have children or stuff, it's not like just putting your feet up, but take like 24 hours off of your work or your worries or whatever else you do. And why is that also important? Because it also creates this kind of space where then blessings can land, right? How many people, and many of my clients are like that, and I was like that too, 24/7 working, right? Every moment of the day thinking about business. What can I sell? What can I do? What can I post? What can I make? Like that's like all the reactive system. And it's not that it's bad to think about your business a lot. That's kind of devotion and love for what you do. But everything that's healthy can also be spun out into something unhealthy, right? So we take it next level, workaholism or whatever, like how can I actually take a day off when I have so much to do? And that's also just illusion. It just takes a little bit more to see it because we're always just output, 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 output. We're always in the masculine energy, and the masculine energy isn't anything bad. It's a good thing, we all have both. But where is then the receptive space where the vessel can actually receive, right? And so um, I don't like it always. Like I can't, like I have to put that restriction on myself that Saturday is just for joy and pleasure and kids and friends and the house. Maybe I do a laundry or clean up the house, but for me, that's not even working, right? But like to take off 24 hours of what I'm doing in the world is just for me, that's a tough spot. But often that's when clients come in, right? Or that's when payments come in because I mean, during the week too, thankfully, but I'm not always just pushing, but it's just the intentionalism of this is really hard for me to take 24 hours off. And I have to do it because I want to make sure that there's also a space where the blessings can land. Because, like I said earlier, I'm really, really good at drawing blessings in energetically. I've just always been really good at that. But then what is the vessel that can hold it, right? So if I'm always just everything's just always flowing through, and I want to also, if you create a space of rest, then things can land, then you have, and it that also came more and more, and is still, my nervous system is still recalibrating, and I work with microdosing a lot too, but also with other things. I eat well, I go to bed as early as not humanly possible, but when my day is done, I don't stay up late and do stupid things anymore. Used to though, but like making good decisions for my nervous system, who I surround myself with. Do I interact with this abrasive person in my Facebook group more, who I've tried several times to have kind interactions with, but they're just keeping blasting at me? Or do I just toss them out because it's my space, right? Do I have to fight with my ex anymore, or can I just let it sit there like he lets my text messages sit, right? When he doesn't like what I'm saying. So just about being wise and kind with my nervous system because I value my space and my energy so much. So all of this is also about allowing a space for blessings to land, for new blessings to land, right? So where are we in my notes? So what's a vessel? So part of a vessel is also being aware that you need more light in your life, right? The light doesn't come from you. As a human, and this is scientific fact, as a human, we are a set of flesh and organs and bones and skin and nail and hair, and that's it. That's what we are as a human. So when you're letting your ego make decisions, your human lack, the body by itself, flesh, all the physical systems that we have going, look at a plant, look at nature, everything that is an organic compound decays. The body is wired for decay. Cells die, humans die, everything has to die. And the thing that keeps us alive, it's not called life force energy without a reason, right? Whatever we got going on through our undefined sacral, or the generators have a tank full of it in their defined sacral, all of that, but it comes not from the flesh, it comes from somewhere else. And nobody can deny that. Without anything else, the body decays. When life is over, you put us under earth, we become soil with the worms. So the natural state the body is in is lack consciousness. And so how we overcome that is by not letting our system of flesh, bones, and skin and hair and nails and teeth, whatever we got going on, organs, did I forget something? Bones, make the decisions anymore from that lack frequency, but we're deciding that our soul, which is connected to the light of the Creator, makes the decisions for our human. Who gets to drive? Your fear, your lack, your doubt. Oh, is this not, what if it's not going to work out? What if this is going to end? What if that's going to be bad? What if this is not going to be enough? Or are you trusting your soul that says, I'm feeling that call? And also, we don't need to know how it ends up because it's going to be so much better than the human can ever imagine. And when we let that force drive, that's where the blessings come. So it's a conscious decision first and foremost of moving from, or who do you give the most importance to make your decisions? Do you say, hey, I want to let my lack frequency make the decisions, my body, my limited version, or I'm going to let my unlimited version, the unlimited part of me make the decisions, which is my soul, which is my higher self, which is connected to the endless realm of blessings and success and miracles, which is my soul, which sits right next to the light of the Creator. So I'm aware that I need more light in my life. So now we're going, hi Jamila, by the way, we're just talking about all the expressions of unhealthy lack, where it comes from, how it expresses. And now that you have a sense of what is actually the unhealthy lack, what is actually healthy lack? And you probably already have a guess or a sense now. Healthy lack is the lack. Okay, just a summary because Jamila just came in. Unhealthy lack is you forget about the light of the Creator. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I'm scared and worried. I'm small, insignificant, and overwhelmed. Forgetting that the force that reveals and fulfills everything and all blessings is the light of the Creator. So now that's the unhealthy lack. The healthy lack, you can already probably guess, is wanting more light from the Creator. Feeling blessed. I love that. Yes. Wanting, like, I feel a lack of light. I feel a lack of connection to the Creator. That is healthy lack, because that is, again, like I was going to say, where's my phone? It's right here. Because I was going to look at, that's the 25, right? Where we're just talking about what does the 51 of shock connect to in the human design chart is the 25. So and I'm reading from Karen Curry Parker's interpretation. She calls this gate spirit, to trust the divine order in all of your life, to learn to connect with source as the path to creating well-being in your life, to remember that your life serves an irreplaceable role in the cosmic plan, and to honor that role and to live from it, to trust source. So every area in your life that isn't feeling successful, where you're feeling bitter, look at last week's, if you want to look more into the bitterness. But we did some real life workshopping in there. But every area that isn't successful or happy or healthy in your life is where you don't trust source. And that's as easily said as that. and simply said as that, but not at all easily done, right? That is our journey. And everyone has gate 25, whether defined or not. It's a part of the human 64 energies that these gates are made of, right? So it's really about, and I preach this consistently for projectors, especially, that this is a must-have. This is not an optional. This is a must-have for you to connect daily and have your own growing creator relationship, whatever you call that force in your life. So now I put my phone away, but I need it more for the notes. So that's where we are. The healthy lack is wanting more connection, wanting more light, wanting more creator support in your life. Not other people giving you things. I was just earlier for a little bit on the call with David Guillaume, and he was talking about, I'm sure some of you were there too, and that's probably why you're late. No worries. But he was talking about how to get a promotion from your boss is by you have to go to their boss, right? It's not about coaxing a human or a person into anything. Like that's why I don't do like objection handling on sales calls. If the creator isn't telling that person they should work with me, I'm not going to tell that person they should work with me, right? I tell the creator every day, though, send me the people who are ready to be transformed by me. And then the money comes naturally, right? These people will feel it because the creative feels my clean intention behind it. And they're like, oh, Alex, Alex has stopped the stupid sales scripts and the objection handling, and trying to manipulate people into buying from her because that was never feeling right anyways. And Alex is just open to receiving the people in her business and in her life who are willing to get into the transformation, right? Who are willing to listen to their soul over their fear and who are willing to step up and be the best version and have the biggest success and draw in the biggest blessings and abundance and all these things. So you go to their boss, right? So this is where we're at. Anything coming up, questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the chat. Let me see what's going on YouTube. People on YouTube are quiet today. You could say hello in the chat if you want, at least. Anyways, so we have a couple more minutes. I wanted to talk about one other concept. I don't think we have time for workshopping just because I have a call right after. Anyone, but we can do it another time. It's always fun. But I wanted to look at another concept and your astro chart in combination with this. So, in my notes, I want to talk about what this Shabbat energy, what this week's energy is also about, but you can always do it anytime, like I said. Because we want to, how can we avoid the universe's hammer is always my question, right? Especially when I have the gate 51 defined. We don't want to invite too much hammering. And so what is a hammer? It's the reminder to come back to source, trust source. But sometimes we have to get awakened. And sometimes there's also some hammers cannot be avoided because it's just the soul path. We don't always know how we need to grow. And proactive expansion is a big thing we can do. We can ask to proactively expand and do our work before the universe comes, right? We do our homework before we get the failed in school, right? Not after. So what I wrote here is proactive expansion. Otherwise, universe comes with Thor's hammer. I wrote to bring your physical lack and to bring you physical lack and pain that make you realize you want more light. And so, who do blessings come to? That is now the question. Blessings come to those who fight their nature. And this is so important for us projectors who have been told that we got to be lazy and not work so much and put our feet up and all this kind of stuff, which I'm still formulating in the back of my mind how I will bring that across as a powerful transmission sometime. I've hinted at it before that it isn't about laying up your feet. We work oftentimes as much and sometimes more than other types, right? And even if it's energetically, that still counts, right? So my nature is also, as a true sky Taurus, I want to be comfortable, you know? And so what is getting out of my comfort zone? Blessings come to those who fight their nature consistently. Here we're going to look in our astro charts, and you can start in your tropical chart. That's always a good first indicator. You can move to your true sky chart if you've explored this already. What is your north node? Because that is the thing, the theme that is unfamiliar to your soul. That is the thing, or to you, yeah, to your soul, because it's always a journey of soul. Your body doesn't know anything, anyways. It has, no, that's not true. Your body knows a lot of things, and it has epigenetic coding, which is usually not always positive conditioning, right? But we want to look at what is unfamiliar to us, and that is the north node. The south node is what you're naturally already got ingrained. It's not necessarily what you're moving away from, but it's about what you're integrating into your north node, right? What is your nature? My nature, my south node in tropical is Aries. So I have a lot of this army general in me, right? Mars is also my chart ruler, so that goes well together. But my nature is being combative, being, bossing others around like an army general. They used to call me a slave ship driver in my work in Germany. Sklavenschiff, for those of you who speak German. That is, and then I looked at my Libra North Node, and I'm like, Libra is also my ascendant. So sometimes it can get a little, what is which, right? But I think people see a lot of Libra in me, but when I look at the Libra from my perspective, and even just for your record, I'm holding it up so you can see which book I really like for this, Astrology for the Soul. It has the North Node and South Node stuff really beautifully explained. And every sign gets a lot of pages on this, right? What does it actually mean when you're moving more into your against your nature? Right? When I first read this in Libra, I was like, attributes to develop, cooperation. I like to do everything alone, right? Aries South Node, like I wanna be the only one who does things. Diplomacy and tact, something I had to learn, right? There's a few others, but this one gave me the worst cringes and like, oh, like my body was like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Selflessness, giving support without expecting reciprocity. But let me tell you, I'm doing this in my business and my business is growing. So it is because I am overcoming my nature when I move to, especially in the second half of life. But you can do this at any point in your life because the South Node and the North Node, they show you what do you come with, what energy do you come with, South Node, in my case, Aries, and what is the thing that you can practice to overcome. Like when you want to start building muscle, going to the gym, maybe you're like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do squats. I don't want to do push-ups. I don't want to do sit-ups, whatever it is, But what you're doing is you're overcoming your nature and you're going to build muscle and you're going to feel better and you're going to feel sexier and you're going to look better. You're going to lose weight and you're going to do all the things and you're going to vibe out more like, oh, I did this energy. This is what it's all about. And this is how you're opening yourself up proactively for growth and blessings. Sharing, seeing things through another's eyes. I think I've always been naturally good at that. But I was mixing in too much Aries energy. And Aries is very natural to me. But I needed to make sure that I can be more selfless. And when I read that, like sharing without expecting reciprocity or unconditional sharing, and I'm like, oh, this is also part of why I'm doing these Friday energy transmissions. Yes, they're good for me, and it says about Libra North Node creating win-win situations. It is good for me, and it is good for you, but it's also good for me because I'm overcoming my nature of like only giving when I want something back, right? And that's also how I was raised in a very transactional family, which in some ways it was very clean, when I wanted something, I had to do something for it, right? But the unconditional sharing part of it was just, it's not my nature. And so I have to grow more into that, more and more and more. And so what is that for you? Um, there's so many things to look at. What about design versus personal nodes? In human design, I don't know if I make such a difference. There's also people who are saying I'm a personality reflector or this or that. Me too, dude, but I'm not a reflector, right? So it's like the human design chart gets its magic from both sides together. That's all I have to say about it. Some of them are more maybe body related, especially as we were talking about the body consciousness and the soul consciousness. But in reality, it doesn't help me always. My mind doesn't go as into those nudges or corners of like, is this now from my soul or is this now from my body? Because ultimately, what is my goal is to have my body become more like my soul, right? And that's what they also say in Kabbalah is one of the purposes is that we actually help our body rise to the frequency of our soul. And again, when you look at the Hawkins scale of emotions, that's not the lower ones, shame, guilt, fear, anger, lack, insecurity, all these things. I would say it's everything above neutral, but especially the higher ones like love, peace, whatever else sits up there. I just mostly remember those two. So, but even neutrality is a good energy to be in, right? So, this is what I've got for you guys today. Type in the chat, what is your North Node? I want to know. And what are you understanding from it as you are seeing it? I highly recommend this book. I'm going to hold it up one more time for you. And for those listening, it's called Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. I've had it for a long time, and it's beautiful. This is what it's called. You can look up your whole family in there, but like, as a projector, don't give them advice if they didn't ask for it. So I want to know in the chat again, what is and here's a prompt for your AI. If you don't have this book yet, you can ask, what is my nature based on my South Node of being or being a XYZ in South Node? And what are the things, the attributes that I have to develop based on my North Node in XYZ? And how can I go overcome the nature that I come with? North Node Taurus. How nice. South Node Scorpio. 24 and 44. That is very interesting. My North Node in personal or design. No, I was talking we're talking about astrology today here, Paula. But you can look at both. I would look at both because you're both. You're not just one or the other. You're not split personality. You can't, I mean, maybe some people can, but I don't think it's very easy to separate the body from the soul because ultimately, like, we want to bring them more together, right? So look at your astro. We're talking astro today. So Taurus and Scorpio. So Ask your Google, if you don't have the book yet, ask your Google, ask your AI, what is it saying about how can you overcome? Ask your David AI if you have it. How can you overcome your nature being this in South Node and that in North Node? And if you want to go deep with your human design, you can do the same with your human design. I haven't done that yet, but it sounds like a nice, fun project for the weekend. So that's what I've got for you. I would love for you to share in the chat, in the comments under the video, what that is for you with your North Node. What are you going to overcome, and what nature are you, what of your nature are you overcoming, and how does that feel to you? Because for me, when I first heard that, it gave me real weird resistance feelings on the inside. And that's good. Sometimes feeling resistance is good because that helps us grow, right? Sometimes it means it's misaligned. But in this case, blessings come to those who fight their nature consistently. So remember that. What is your nature, and what do you get to fight consistently? This is going out of your comfort zone, and that's why you're moving into realms where miracles and blessings are going to be possible. So thank you for being here today. I will see you next week, same time, same place. If you need anything, reach out. And for the winner, Christy Namachova, please reach out to me and we will get you all set up. Happy weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Love you guys. See you next